Hey everybody, this is Shadowblazer 3000 here, the shadow side of the Drac and Shadow channel. You've probably seen me, of course, in other vlogs or heard me on our Let's Plays, but I do have a movie vlog here, and as you can see, I am flying solo for this one. I went and saw Alien Covenant. I'm a couple days late, but that's because it's hard to find time to get to the movies when you gotta work a lot. But I finally got to see Alien Covenant, and once again, yes, you can see I'm flying solo for this one. I did ask Drac if he would want to come along and see Alien Covenant with me before it came out. Of course, Drac is not really caught up or as invested in the Alien franchise as I am. If I could call myself invested, to be honest, I wouldn't even do that. But so he decided to pass on this one, although we have been talking about potentially doing sort of a giant Alien retrospect coverage set of vlogs on our channel, including playing Alien Requiem, not Requiem, sorry, Alien Isolation on our channel as a Let's Play. That's still in the early possible stages. Don't essentially count on that immediately. We both said we might be interested, but we want to see where everything else falls first. But that's neither here nor there. That's a whole nother issue entirely. In the meantime, just enjoy this single solo vlog from me. If you're new to this channel, if you're new to any of our vlogs, of course we want to always stress that these vlogs are spoiler filled. Frankly, we're assuming if you're watching these, then you're either already seen the movie, or you're not interested, or you just really, really want a immediate review because maybe you're on the fence. But if you're on the fence, then again, that's okay. Just be warned, I'm going to spoil a lot in this movie. Well, and also I'm not going to go through the whole plot beat for beat like we have in previous vlogs. We're actually going to start moving away from that now. I'm going to start probably moving away from that now in my own vlogs because it's too hard to do it like this when I'm not doing with a script. So without further ado, let me just finally get into it and get what you all came for. The intros are out of the way. Now, I love the first Alien movie. I love the first two Alien movies, actually. I love Alien and I love Aliens. I love them equally, pretty much. I can't say one or the other is my favorite, because I love them both for the different reasons. I love the first Alien because it's very terrifying, it's very atmospheric, it's very slow, but not the bad kind of slow. It's a very slow, tensious build, and it's very just well made. It's a great movie from 1979. And I love Aliens for, well, being the more action-packed version of the Alien stories, where that one you follow Ripley trying to get Space Marines, trying to survive the aliens, the xenomorphs. Both are great movies. Both I highly recommend if you love great sci-fi movies. If you haven't seen them yet, I do again want to stress the first Alien is a lot more slow, but I don't think it's slow in the bad sense. Not like this movie, which I'm going to start getting into. Alien 3 and 4, forget about them. I don't think they're very good. Prometheus, pretty bad. I think we all pretty much agree. I don't know. I guess some people liked Prometheus. Fair enough. But Prometheus is a mess of a movie. And, I mean, Prometheus, it couldn't really decide if it wanted to be an Alien prequel or not be an Alien prequel. I kept seeing back and forth, like, no, this is just set in the Alien universe. And, no, this is an Alien prequel. Not so much in the movie, but just a lot of the build up to the film, and it's a confusing mess, and it's a bad movie. And now we come to Alien Requiem. Sorry, I keep saying Requiem for some reason. I'm sure there's an Alien Requiem somewhere. But as for Alien vs. Predators, no, I don't really count them as part of the franchise. They're gimmick movies at the end of the day, and they don't really work as being part of the Alien franchise, because nothing about them works, because the aliens come to modern time Earth, essentially, when the movies are made. It's when they're set. And the Alien movies are always set in the distant future, so it doesn't really work in the Alien franchise. If you want to find a way to fit them in, be my guest. I'm not going to. When it came to this movie, though, Alien Covenant, I was at first looking forward to it, because at first Neill Blomkamp was considering, or at least in consideration, or at least he was trying to pitch his ideas to Fox to maybe let him take on an Alien movie. He was really interested in potentially doing that. He came out with some pretty interesting concept art, and I really enjoyed Chappie. I know a lot of people really disliked that movie. I thought it was pretty good. I don't get the hate around that movie, but whatever. So, I never saw District 9 or Elysium, but Chappie, I was just seeing Chappie alone encouraged me, hey, Blomkamp might actually bring something really interesting to this franchise if Ridley Scott or James Cameron doesn't come back. Actually, I never wanted Ridley Scott to come back. I'll get into that again later, hopefully, if I remember, because I always say I get into stuff and then I never do. But, and then, of course, Ridley Scott, well, he wrangled away the potential of Blomkamp, and Fox essentially gave it to him. And I was pretty pissed off. I don't know if we talked about this on Geek News, but I remember pitching it in our Geek News submission stories thread, and I'm pretty sure I literally said, fuck you, Scott. I was not happy that this went away from Blomkamp to Scott, and I'll just lay it out now. Ridley Scott, I do think he's a fine director, but I haven't enjoyed really any movies he's made since Black Hawk Down. I honestly think that's the best movie he's made, and he hasn't made anything really good after really anything memorable. Matchstick Man, forgettable. I know he did like some Crusades movie. I want to say it was Tristan and Isolde. There's like two of them that year that were like exactly alike and that came out, and yeah, it's just not a good movie. And I didn't see The Martian, in fairness. Maybe that is a really good movie, but I've never been much for Scott since Black Hawk Down. I still think that's his, if you could call it a magnum opus movie, that was really one of his best. So I wasn't totally, and Prometheus, again, I saw that, not a great movie. So I wasn't thrilled, especially when he started to try and connect it back to Prometheus. And that's a lot of this movie's problems. This movie, I'm going to lay it out right now. This movie's not very good. It's really not good at all. I wouldn't recommend this at all, especially for longtime fans of Alien. Just don't. And let me kind of, I guess, get into my reasons why. I mean, this movie is really slow, but not good slow like the first Alien, where it's a slow build to a lot of terror. It's just a slow build to a lot of pointlessness. It's so unbelievably dull. There are exceptions. There are moments that really are good, but there's just not a lot going on in this movie. I mean, the whole first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, it's probably only about 5 minutes, but it certainly felt like an eternity, is Michael Fassbender talking with somebody. I don't know. It's probably Weyland-Yutani. I don't freaking know. And it's like, it's all going into this whole, like, you are my creation. I created you. But who created you, master? And it's like, what? What? Just what? When did Alien suddenly need to become a philosophical sci-fi? It never was. Go watch the first Alien movie. It's a horror movie. It's a slasher movie in space, pretty much. Before Jason X. It's the original space slasher movie. And I'm just like, why on earth are we trying to inject, like, religious philosophy into these movies? I get sci-fi usually is the basis of being philosophical, right? There's the works of Philip K. Dick or Isaac Asimov. Yeah, I'm not railing against philosophical sci-fi. Like I said, I enjoyed Chappie. That's a pretty philosophical, deep, kind of contemplative sci-fi. It works. I don't hate philosophical sci-fi, but the Alien franchise has never set it up to be a philosophical franchise. The first one's a horror movie. The second one's an action movie. Third and fourth, I have no clue what they want to be. And this one's trying to be like friggin' Ghost in the Shell or some stupid shit like that. And it's dragging the whole movie down. There are several instances in the movie like that where there's just all this back and forth about philosophy and religious concepts, and there's a lot of religious allegories. You know, Michael Fassbender essentially plays two characters. He plays an android series. That's all, and of course they're all modeled to be exactly alike. Makes sense, they're androids. And there's several points where the other android named David, because the android we follow through most of the movie, at least for the first half of the movie, is called Walter, and then there's the other one called David. See what I mean? There's a lot of religious symbolism in this movie. And of course there's this whole scene where David is teaching Walter to play the recorder. And I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? Nothing. I was just rolling my eyes and going, oh my god, get a move on already. We've been in this movie for 45 minutes and nothing's happened. Well, not nothing, okay? Like I said, there are moments in this movie, but it's just like there's this whole moment, and I'm like, it's dragging the whole movie down because there's just a lot of this whole philosophy going on, and it's like, why? Again, I want to stress the Alien franchise has never been a philosophical sci-fi. It's always been a horror sci-fi. That's the way it should stay. Don't try to make it into something it's not. And I think this is the problem with trying to connect it back to Prometheus, because I know Prometheus is all about origins and the genesis of the alien creatures and of the space jockey, and again, it didn't do a very good job of it. Neither does this movie. And there's just so much padding and padding and padding in this movie that I can't do it. I was half tempted to just walk out and say, I'm done. I was half tempted, but I sat through it to the very end. I mean, the movie, besides the whole prologue scene where, by the way, white credits open in a very white room. Clever production design, guys. You know, remember again the first Alien movie where you're slowly panning through space and the title slowly appears like little bits of the letters. So clever. They try to recreate that here, and they even play the Jerry Goldsmith theme from the original Alien movie, and that was good. But of course, all the credits are in that first 5 minutes with Michael Fassbender's character, I guess it's Walter, or maybe it's David, I don't know. Because they're androids, so they look alike. And all the credits are like white, and you can barely read some of them. And so it's just like, this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. It's because it's sad. Opening credits are a lost art, pretty much. I think I can't... the last movie I can think of right now that actually had an opening credits was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And before that, there was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Right? And those were pretty uneventful opening titles too. Right? It's like, and now, of course, the original Alien opening credits weren't that amazing. Like I said, it was mostly just a slow pan through space with the opening credits going, and at least they recreate the kind of the slowly forming together Alien title, which against the Jerry Goldsmith score, which is really nice. Now, I guess back more into the thick of the plot. Like I said, I'm jumping all over the place because I'm not going to actually sum it up here. I'm not going to give the beat by beat breakdown. I mean, when the team that explores the planet, once again, we got Prometheus syndrome here, where you got people who really should know better are incentively stupid. And I get the concept that they're in a terrible situation, so naturally they're not going to be necessarily reacting rationally. Fair enough, but these are trained scientists, they're trained professionals. These aren't... It's kind of sad. Again, go back to the original Alien movie. Those were just space miners, space truckers. They were just regular Joes in the first movie. Yet somehow they were generally a lot more calm and a lot more rational through the fact that a mysterious creature is stalking and killing them all one by one than the people in this movie. It's so stupid. It's like, I can't believe that these people could be so stupid and ridiculous, and stressful situations aside, yeah, sure, any of us would panic, but these are trained professionals. If you want a real life example of how trained professionals really can handle a crisis, you can go listen to the Apollo 13 recordings and listen to how unbelievably calm those astronauts are, even though their very lives are on the line. The movie really dramatizes it, which isn't bad, obviously, but the actual astronauts were very calm through that whole thing. Apollo 13, go look it up. So there's a lot of back and forth. It's so much like this religious philosophy. right? And again, you want to continue talking about the complete and utter idiocy of these characters. When the captain, or I guess the replacement captain, because the original captain dies during a solar storm or something. But yeah, but when the captain is talking with Walter, Walter had been already engaging with one of the creatures, the xenomorphs, and the captain, of course, shoots it away. And, of course, they're pissed. Well, David is pissed that the captain did that. And, of course, so the captain's like, I want you to show me what's going on here. So, of course, David leads him right into a trap, basically. He leads him to a nest of xenomorph eggs, and, of course, he's like, take a look. Like, why would you trust this thing, especially considering just a moment ago, you're like, the captain says, just a moment prior, I've seen the devil, and I know it's, right? So it's like he's equating David to the devil, basically. So, in other words, he's establishing he clearly doesn't trust him, but he's stupid enough to lean over an open egg because David tells him to. He's really stupid to do that, and of course the facehugger gets him, and of course the chest burster comes through, and now the new xenomorph species is born yet again. There's a whole lot of back and forth, like, I created hybrids. Ooh, Jesus Christ, this movie sucked. And of course, when all is said and done, many crew members are dead, and just to again show you how the movie doesn't want to really end, of course, it has a lot of fake outs. It's a little bit like the first. There's kind of the couple of fake out endings where you think that the characters are safe, but in the back of your mind, you're pretty much predicting, like, let me guess, there's still going to be another alien on board because another crew member got attacked by a facehugger, but one of his fellow crew did pry it off, but of course, it obviously was on long enough. It left the lingering doubt if there was an egg in him, or at least a chest burster in him, so there was enough lingering doubt, but I figured it was probably going to happen. Or at least, if not that, I figured Walter was destroyed and replaced with David. And let me talk another bit stupid scene in this movie. Walter and David, the two androids, actually have hand-to-hand combat with each other. It's ridiculous. Again, remember back to the original Alien when, Ian Holm is throwing around Sigourney Weaver and he's starting to fidget and twitch and his whole body breaks down and spews all that liquid goo. It's like, yeah, that was good. This was stupid. They're like hand-to-hand combat and they're throwing out cheesy one-liners like it's a shitty action movie. It's like, oh my god, I cannot believe John Logan wrote this. John Logan's usually a very good screenwriter, but he wrote this like Akiva Goldsman writes screenplays, or Aaron Kruger writes screenplays. It's garbage. It's like, how does the live action Ghost in the Shell have more restraint than this movie? I don't know. And of course, the movie ends. So is there anything good? Not much. I mean, even the alien was crap. I'm pretty sure they used a CGI alien instead of a suit, or instead of an animatronic like they did with the first two aliens. Well, they also used I think they also used a suit actor for Alien 3, but it looked absolutely crappy because they shot it all against blue screen and absolutely did garbage with the digital compositing. But at least back then you had the excuse it was still the mid-90s, so digital technology quite wasn't up to par just yet. But the alien looked pretty terrible. The chest busters all looked terrible. The movie is slow. It's 2 hours, but it feels like 2.5 or 3 hours. It was not a good movie. I mean, there are some exciting set pieces, like them trying to get off the planet and trying to shake off the xenomorph. There is kind of a recreation of Ripley's jettisoning the alien out the airlock from the first movie, only like 10 times bigger. This time they throw him out the airlock with a giant truck and he gets impaled on the truck. It's pretty cool looking, I'll give it that. And it's pretty exciting, and the gore is certainly there. I mean, like I said, these are horror movies. They are very violent and very gory, as they should be. It's very R-rated. Perfect. That's good. I mean, you want to talk about another endangered species in movies? It's the R rating, but so it's not toned down in any sense of the word. This is very much an R-rated movie, so be glad for that, I guess. It's just not very good, unfortunately. It's kind of sad, the rare times we get R-rated movies and they're never good. That's really it. I didn't really enjoy this movie. I was kind of bored through most of it and half tempted to walk out. Not good. I went in expecting to be disappointed. I was disappointed. What can I say? It's not a very good movie. If Ridley Scott really does intend to make another one of these, I mean, the man's already like 80. I think he's 79 or 80 or 80. He's getting up there in years. Then hell no, I'm not watching it. I think it's time to possibly just put this franchise out to pasture, or maybe just continue on in video games or something. Alien Isolation, that's a way better Alien movie than this, and that's a video game. I've never played it myself. I watched Markiplier play it, and it's a way better Alien movie than this. I should play that myself. I think we should play it on Dragon Shadow, but we'll see when we get there. So, apologies about the short blog, but there's not a lot to say. This was a bad movie. It just wasn't good. So, of course, on my own channel I don't usually score, but obviously here on Dragon Shadow I do score, so I'm gonna give this movie a whopping 4. It's got some decent effects here and there, some okay actors, Michael Fassbender's not bad, but it's just a dull movie. It's just not very good. It's trying to be the pseudo-intellectual sci-fi when it doesn't need to be. You just need to be about the alien and the people interacting with the alien. You don't need to try and be Prometheus. You don't need to try and be, and you don't need to be Ghost in the Shell. You don't need to be Akira. You don't need to be that. You have a solid setup. You have a solid format. Follow it. I kind of get it that there's only so much you can, again, show of alien gets out and kills people. It's like the Jason movies, right? It's like, how many times can you watch Jason impale people? So I get there's the need to try and innovate with the franchise, but at the same time, I feel like you're dragging the whole movie down just for the sake of trying to be innovative, but not doing a good job at it either. I think there could have been better ways to write it, but I wouldn't have the slightest idea how to write a better Alien movie as far as this goes. If they're trying to connect it more to the original franchise as a prequel series, they're not doing a very good job of it either. It's the curse of the prequels, I guess. That's going to wrap it up for this vlog, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching my solo attempt to try and sum up Alien Covenant. Once again, not very good movie, but we also liked on the Dragon Shadow vlogs to kind of give a general field recommendation to say how much money should you spend on this. If you want my honest opinion, don't waste your time at the theater. Wait for Netflix if you're really curious, or wait for Redbox. Don't spend a lot of money on this. Don't go see it in theaters. I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd saved my money for something more interesting.